Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. We are here, and we are ready to maybe finish this case up. And this is the fifth case of Spirit of Justice, which might be the closing of this storyline. We have one more case after this, which is the DLC case, which I understand is not connected to this game's plot at all. Kind of like the DLC case from the previous game sort of had a connection, but this one doesn't. So let's get going, shall we? We were going to go to the audience chamber to confront the queen. So let's do it. May 18th, Garon Palace. Audience chamber. The royal guard isn't around. That is utter hooey! You cannot continue to deceive the people like that! Rafa, justice is much more than simply speaking the truth. Is that Princess Rafa and Queen Garon over there? You deceived me too, Mother! How can I ever believe a word you say again? You nincompoop! Your benevolence. Couldn't help it over here. You impudent! Ow! Are you okay, Mr. Wright? I can't believe she actually punched you. Yeah, I'm used to it by now. It's okay, I've internalized the abuse from the princess. What's the matter with the princess? It sounded like she was arguing with her mother. Maybe it has something to do with this picture. Rafa said she had to ask her mother about some secret or another as soon as she saw it. So then, does that mean that Princess Rafa knows what really happened? That Amara wasn't assassinated and is still very much alive? Thank you for that summary, Apollo. It would seem so, and she doesn't seem to be taking Garon's lies very well. That's right, don't believe Garon's lies. Listen to Captain Bash von Ronsenberg. But that's no surprise, considering how much Rafa reveres her mother. That would definitely cause her a great deal of anguish and sadness. Eavesdropping, are we? How very rude. Captain Amara lives! You there? Are you not Dirk's son? Oh, nice to meet you, Your Eminence. We're actually here to speak with you, if you could spare a moment. We're here to confront you about all your lies. Yes, that's right. Amara's alive? Your Eminence, Dirk told me about Amara. About how she's still alive, that is. We know not of what you speak. After Dirk learned Amara was still alive, he rescued her, and they ran off together. But she was captured and remains captive in a secret location to this day. As for Nayuta doing your bidding, it's only because Amara's life is in your hands. Oh, what an active imagination you have. A lawyer and a comedian, how droll! Whoa, where'd they come from? Anyway, if she's gonna play dumb, I'll just have to jog her memory with some evidence. Alright. The picture. Your Eminence, I ask that you take a look at this photo. Look at this photograph. Why, that's... It doesn't make me laugh. It's a photo of Amara. And here you can see a law book bearing the mark of the Defiant Dragons. I believe you know what that means. Very well. Royal Guard, stand down. Yes, Your Eminence. Your wish is our command. It seems there is no need to perpetuate this charade any longer. We shall speak of all we know. Of all you know. Amara's alive! It changed. I like it. Mummy's alive. So then you admit that Amara's still alive? Yes. She is under our protection in a safe location. I think you mean being held prisoner. And where is she being kept? Oh, now why would we tell the son of a traitor that? Guess she has a point there. Now heed our warning, horned devil. It would not be wise to inform the people that Amara yet lives. It would only serve to plunge public order into chaos. I have no intention of doing that. Besides, there are real terrorists out there who might try to kill her. Good. Now, there was something we have been meaning to ask you. Do you know what has become of the Founder's Orb? Yes. The Founder's Orb went missing after Dirk took it into the tomb. As his son, we thought you might know something of its current whereabouts. I knew it. I suppose I should thank you for that free-running tour of Kurine. That was the Royal Guard's own doing. Nice try, lady. But now you're definitely not getting the orb. Ever. Why do you want the orb so badly anyway? She wants to ponder it. She suffers without her orb. Do not prolong her suffering. Because it would be most dangerous in the wrong hands. It must be recovered. Is the legend true? Can the orb really impart spiritual power? Are you worried that someone could overthrow you with it? The Holy Mother's power is without equal. Should Her Holiness once again return to our world, she could conceivably bestow great power upon the one who unlocked the orb's secret. I guess it makes sense, considering spirit channeling is a fact of life here. So we ask you, Horned Devil, did you receive the Founder's Orb from Dirk? Does it look like I did? Oh, I love that. Sus. So you like to play games, do you? Real guard? Yes, Your Eminence. Oh, that's a lot of them. Search this devil and his belongings. What? At once, Your Eminence. Don't move! You're only making this harder on yourself! Yikes! Hey, cut it out! Ah, what the... Hey, Apollo, don't strip here! Stop resisting! Just submit to our strip search already! Oh, no. No, wait! Hey, cut it out! Ah! Poor Apollo. Yeah, I know, I agree. I agree, Will Avocado. Poor Apollo. Rest in peace, is my poor tattered dignity. It's a good thing we left the orb with our friends back at the hideout. There's no sign of the Founder's Orb, Your Eminence. So, you have hidden it somewhere. No matter. We shall recover it one way or another once you are found guilty of abetting the accused. Dirk was right. She really is bent on getting the orb. Mother! Should have just learned the magic panties trick from Trucy to hide the orb. Seriously! Looks like the princess is back. I took a stroll to try to calm myself, but I still find this situation unacceptable. The people must be informed about Queen Amara. So she does know about that. Rafa, you do not yet possess a clear grasp of how a government and its people interact. There will always be secrets that must be kept from the ignorant masses. You have little faith in our people, Mother. But it is the royal priestess's duty to always speak the truth. And as such, I cannot remain silent. I will not! The truth, you say. Your mind has been poisoned by the barbed one. It was an honor and a pleasure, Your Eminence. Oh, getting all sassy, Phoenix. We must speak with our child. It is a mother's duty to discipline her child, after all. Now, you would excuse us. Discipline? Coming from her, I don't like the sound of that at all. Well, Apollo, let's head back to the safe house for now. Good idea. We need to go over what we found and collect our thoughts. Back to the safe house. You still got the orb, Dats? May 18th, former Sadmadi law offices. Ah, you're back. Thank you for holding down the fort, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. Sorry it took so long. Hope you weren't too bored. I watched the plumed Punisher warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm while you were gone. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's going to have some opinions about this. And my verdict is, it's an outrage, especially its theme song. Even worse, the people here believe it's an original Kuraini show. Can you believe it? I've already spoken about it late with Mr. Aribal, and he... I'm not sure what he's babbling about, but at least it seems he wasn't bored. Moving along to things that actually matter, we've gathered about all the information and evidence we can concerning the case. I think it's time we go over everything we've learned so far. So, for those who don't know the extended lore, Edgeworth is in fact a gigantic Steel Samurai fan, and he would have opinions about that. Alright. Well, do we just talk for now? About Inga's murder. Let's do that. The Orb Trial, Maya's abduction, and the murder of the mastermind behind it all, Justice Minister Inga. It's a lot to consider. Think you have all the facts straight in your head? Yep, I've got it covered, Mr. Wright. It's the truth about what really went down that's going to be the problem. Yeah, it's like the more we learn about this case, the less we understand. I agree. There's a deep darkness enveloping this case. I'm almost afraid of what we will find once we lift that black veil. Suffice to say, the real killer is certainly waiting underneath. The real killer, huh? Now that's the million-dollar question. Who killed Inga, and why? Think, Apollo. Who would you say had a motive to commit this crime? I, for one, am drawing a complete blank. I want to know how the killer slipped into the tomb, killed Inga, and slipped back out, without ever being seen. That's a bona fide locked-room mystery right there. Well, we've collected plenty of evidence and statements. I just hope the rest comes out in court. It'll be a thinner tightrope than usual, that's for sure. Talk about Amara's assassination next. This case is only one big fly in the ointment. In order to prove Dirk completely innocent, we'll also have to exonerate him of the crime committed 23 years ago. Amara's supposed assassination. Right, we know Amara is still alive, but Dirk could still be charged with plotting to kill her. He couldn't discover the truth, even after 2 decades of investigating. So our biggest hurdle is going to be the complete lack of evidence. The fire made sure of that. Mr. Wright, have you ever won a case without any evidence? No, that's one thing I've never done before. A trial unprecedented even in the decorated annals of the Write Anything Agency. Still, I can't help but wonder, was there really no evidence left behind? Debatable. Yeah, yes. I don't know about that statement. Like, I kind of feel like he has won without evidence before. Oh, and we can't forget about the Defense Culpability Act. Those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In short, if Dirk is found guilty and is sentenced to death, we'll likely join him in a very public execution. Yeah. Beat the charges or die? What kind of crazy upside-down legal system is this anyway? Don't worry, I can't ask someone as young as you to risk your life, Athena. So tomorrow, it'll just be me and Apollo on the courtroom floor. But you can support us by watching from the gallery. What? No! I want to help! I'm part of the agency too, after all. Sorry, but this is a direct order from your boss. Plus, there's Prosecutor Blackquill to think of. He said he'd use me for sword practice if I put you in harm's way. Aw, he really does care. Yeah, Simon. Well, at least promise me this, you two. Promise me you'll make it back alive. Ha! Make it back alive. What's with that face, Apollo? We'll never inspire confidence in your client like that. And it'll play right into the prosecution's hands. Remember, the worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. A character I'm not allowed to talk about told me about that. You're right! Even when it seems hopeless, or when there's not a shred of evidence to be found, we can never let it show on our faces, right? But will I actually be able to do that tomorrow? When push comes to shove, will I be able to force my biggest smile? To be continued. Will he force his biggest smile? Tune in next time, which is right now. Let's do it. Trial day 2. That was a really long investigation section. May 19th, 8:50 a.m. High Court of Kurain. Oh, anime cutscene. Uh-oh. Jordan is jumping. May 19th, 9:28, High Court of Kurain. Accused lobby. It's completely chaos outside. Let's just say the Defiant Dragon supporters demonstrating for Dirk's freedom have taken a very special interest in the outcome of today's trial. They look about ready to string us up if we lose. Trials here are pretty much like the ones back home, but with one major difference. The divination seance. The victim's final memories will become a matter for deliberation. I've heard about that. But they haven't stopped you from winning your cases here in Kurain. True, but it wasn't easy. Still, the memories of the dead are simply another piece of evidence. There's always a way to deal with them if your client is truly innocent. Well, I know Dirk is innocent, but... I have one more big secret. Apollo, in court tomorrow, you may find yourself faced with a truth that is difficult to accept. But I know you, and I know you can handle the truth, no matter what it turns out to be. I know that because I believe in you. You're my son, after all. Dirk, what is that secret you're keeping? Hey, AJ. Oh, it's Dad's. Hey. Here you go. Just like I promised. Founder's orb added to court record. Thanks, Dats, you kept it safe. Thanks, Dats. Wait, weren't you arrested by the police yesterday? Yep, and I spent the night in the slammer. Where did you hide the orb? I had a fine meal, a shower, even a bed. What more could I ask for? That actually sounds way better than where we're staying. Just remember, AJ, if Dirk's found guilty today, well, I'll probably be found guilty under the Defense Culpability Act, too. Yeah, I know you'd have said something to that effect. That witch Garon wants to take advantage of today to crush our revolution once and for all. The fate of the revolution, and every Kurainese person, rests on this trial. We're counting on you, AJ. We'll be fine. I'm gonna win this one. You'll see. The trial will begin shortly, Apollo. Let's make our way into the courtroom. Right. May 19th, High Court of Kurain. The actual High Court. Court is now in session. All rise. All right, we got Nayuta there. Let the trial of Dirk Sadmani begin. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Majesty. So it's really come down to this. Well, don't expect me to hold anything back, Nayuta. This trial will examine both the murder of Justice Minister Inga Kakul Kurain and the assassination of the former Queen Amara Sigata Kurain. First, I believe we should address the murder of Minister Inga. Would that be acceptable, Prosecutor Sadmati? It's very quiet. Prosecutor Sadmati? Yes, of course. Please, proceed. What's with him? How very unlike you, Prosecutor. Is your mind elsewhere this day? No, not at all, Your Majesty. Are you really going to be able to go through with this, Nayuta?
Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, I would be remiss if I failed to voice a concern of mine. I have heard mentioned that you are son to the accused, Dirk Sadmati.
You have heard true. Does that fact pose some sort of a problem, Your Majesty?
A father being prosecuted by his own son? Could one possibly deliberate such a case without having personal feelings intervene?
Yes, without question.
Can he really handle this? Even if it is Prosecutor Sadmati going against his own father is just... How can the son of a criminal even be a prosecutor in the first place?
Uh-oh. Dirk?
Fellow citizens, you would do well not to underestimate my son. He's not one to allow personal feelings to interfere with the execution of his duty. Isn't that right, Nayuta?
I will not stop until my work here is done.
See? So all you doubters just sit back down before you trip over your own stupidity. Ha 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 ha! The accused will not take the stand without first being summoned. In any case, if Prosecutor Sadmati has no issue with this arrangement, then let us commence the deliberations.
Huh? One moment, if you would.
Your Eminence!
Your Eminence, what brings you here?
Ah! She teleported behind his desk!
Your Majesty, it would appear that Prosecutor Sadmati does indeed have some reservations.
No, that's not true.
Did you truly believe you could deceive me, Nayuta Sadmati? One should hold no reservations if one is to stand on these hallowed funerary grounds. I have none. No, it is clear we cannot leave this matter to you.
No.
We shall handle the prosecution of enemy of the crown, Dirk Sadmati, personally. But remain by your side and bear witness to how a true prosecutor enforces the law.
Excuse me, but is the Queen gonna prosecute the case? That's what I was wondering. Is that, kosher?
There is no need for concern. Before we were crowned queen, we served as a prosecutor.
Really? As a foreigner, your ignorance can be excused, but know this. The prosecutor in charge of the Queen Amara assassination case 23 years ago was none other than Her Eminence, Queen Garansigata Karain.
First Your Majesty and now this? Why doesn't anyone ever tell me these things? I'd heard she'd served as the Minister of Justice, but she was also a prosecutor? I'm guessing she probably moved up the ladder from prosecutor to justice minister. People are teleporting behind desks left and right here. Is nothing personnel? Nope, nothing personnel here, kid. We prosecuted that case 23 years ago, but no verdict was ever rendered. We had one guilty verdict in every case until then, for no lawyer could stand up to us. I guess Karain has the same rule that quote-unquote America does, where if the person accused just leaves the courtroom, you can't convict them of anything. Prosecutors hate him. Local magician discovers one weird trick to get out of being declared guilty.
I am at a loss for words. To think I would once more bear witness to Her Eminence at work in the Hall of Justice.
Our first trial in 23 years. No quarter shall be given to criminals. We shall prosecute them with all our might. What? What?
Oh, what magnificent sight! The Queen's attire from her prosecutor days. To think we get to see it once more.
What the? She looks like a Street Fighter character now.
That's Queen Garon?
Talk about an extreme makeover. It's all coming back now. the feel of my blood pumping through my veins. Woe to you, O enemies of Khura'in, for I shall personally slice, dice, and grind you up into hog feed. I don't suppose I can ask her to roll back to her polite pre-makeover personality. Was she a sorceress trying to cast time compression before becoming a prosecutor? Yeah, she looks like either a Street Fighter character or a Final Fantasy villain. Yes, it's time compression. Know this, lawyer. Yes? Now that I stand as prosecutor, consider your defense's bench a headsman's scaffold. If you wish to leave any last words, I advise you to start thinking of them now. While you still have a head with which to think, that is. She's dead serious. Now it is time for the divination seance. Rafa, come forth.
Your benevolence, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Your benevolence, I understand it may be difficult for you, but may we proceed with the divination seance?
Yes, let us proceed.
Forgive me for asking, but are you feeling physically unwell?
Alright, so I had to look up a picture of Ultimacia. Aside from the hair color, the look is spot on. Yeah, it really is. Like, I generally remember what Ultimacia looked like, and it was like, yeah, this is looking pretty Ultimacia.
If so, I would advise you to avoid any undue exertion.
Uh-huh.
Your benevolence?
What's wrong? It's like her mind's anywhere but here. A lot's happened since yesterday. On top of the murder of her beloved father, she found out that he'd been planning a coup. And today, she'll have to experience his death through his own eyes. Yeah, that would be enough to shake anyone up. Still, it seems like she's worse off today than she was yesterday. Yeah, I don't remember her being this depressed. Yeah, that was we just had this cutscene. Yep. It was discipline from the child to the child, and things apparently got pretty heavy. Wait. Garon didn't do something to her, did she?
Your Eminence, about today's divination seance? As I understand it, the prosecution has yet to review its content. Is this deviation from protocol a part of your plan?
Prosecutor Sadmati, would you care to explain your actions? Your Eminence, the accused was caught at the scene of the crime. Therefore, I deem no seance would be necessary for such a clear-cut case. You and your bleeding heart. You seek to spare Rafa the trauma of witnessing her father's death. Is that why you have done this? No, not at all. You were concerned for me, Prosecutor Sadmati? That's oddly compassionate of him, all things considered. Your Eminence, your Majesty, regardless of what is best for her benevolence, this case is blessed with a bounty of incontrovertible evidence, so I believe we could reach a swift verdict without devoting precious time to a seance.
You have a point. Personally, I would like to spare her benevolence any undue misery. Experiencing the murder of a loved one is a burden no one should have to bear.
Prosecutor Sadmati, your Majesty, can this truly proceed without a divination seance? Can't blame her for not wanting to experience her father's murder firsthand.
Your Eminence, what are your feelings on the matter? Shall we have her benevolence return home for some much-needed rest?
We shall not. You fool, spoil her with your feckless words of compassion. Listen well, Rafa. You have spoken time and time again about how grown up you are now. Yes, but... So, let us see if the royal priestess has truly come into her own. Are you prepared to fulfill your duty and perform the divination seance as you should? Yes. That's better. See? Problem solved. Poor Rafa. Is this really a good idea? I guess we'll see. What's happening? We're divination seancing, I guess, now. Very well. Let us begin the divination seance. Nina, my robe. Wait, Nina's not here. Oh! Looks like Nina's still missing. It's been a whole day already. Where is Nina? Bobbed head. Yes? You remove my robe. What? Why me? Don't keep the benevolence waiting now, Mr. Wright. I hope it plays an animation of him like going yoink. Can't you see she's ready to begin? Great. I've been reduced to royal robe remover. It's like she's grooming Mr. Wright to be Nina's replacement. Aw, we didn't get an animation. That's too bad.
Very well, Your Benevolence. Please start when you are ready.
Come, Rafa. You know what must be done. There is no turning back now. I know. The final memories of the deceased. This should be interesting. All right.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Alright, we've seen this enough. We can skip it. Okay. Here we go. Maybe. What? Uh. Oh, she's gonna faint. Oh, well, that's that.
Your Benevolence! What's wrong?
This is unacceptable.
Bailiff, take a Benevolence to the first aid station at once.
This is not good.
Your Eminence, do you have any idea why her benevolence collapsed so suddenly?
It seems she was not ready for what the deceased was to reveal. It overwhelmed her. Her inexperience and immaturity left her ill-prepared to face her father's death. And she said she could go through with it. How very disappointing. I know someone who's not winning Mother of the Year, ever. I mean, of course Rafa's going to be overwhelmed. She's still just a child. It seems we have no choice but to move on to witness testimony. Your Majesty.
Oh, yes, let us proceed. Bailiff, summon the first witness, if you would.
Who is it? Oh, it's Dirk? Okay.
Is this not the accused?
It is indeed. I thought I would give him the opportunity to plead his case. For true justice is more than a unilateral presentation of the facts by the prosecution. That seems uncharacteristically fair of her. However, should the accused fail to produce convincing testimony, he, along with his cabal of traitorous lawyers, shall immediately be found guilty, and their heads will roll from their shoulders. What? I should have known there was a catch.
Your court, your rules. Same it as it always was, I see, Garon. Now then, Mr. Dirk Sutmati, if you could enlighten us as to what happened. Oh, well, I would, if I could.
Oh, this is going to be some great testimony. Witness testimony. Dirk explains himself.
I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. And lying right in front of me was Inga, dead as a doornail. I've no recollection of what happened in the interim. But I didn't kill him. At least, I don't think I did. It'd go against everything I believe in.
That's great. That didn't explain squat. For the record, let it be known that the accused's fingerprints were all over the murder weapon, and since he was caught in the act, there was no chance for a third party to tamper with it.
Well, that certainly seems to point the finger at you, Mr. Sadmadi. Even as a lawyer, I have to agree with you there, Your Majesty.
Seriously, Dirk, this is no laughing matter. This is exactly what Garon wanted, to have Dirk try to plead his case, only to fail miserably. How low can she go? Prosecutor, behold this most unpleasant of spectacles, and let it be etched into your soul. See how, instead of accepting the inevitable, those fish-brained lawyers flounder and flop themselves straight into the abyss of despair. Yes, Your Eminence. Show me the way.
And now then, would the defense please begin their cross-examination?
Well, let's do it. Dirk explained himself. I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. Okay. You were struck by a sudden dizziness. Was it because of his illness? Is that something that has ever happened to you before?
Can't say that it has. Maybe age is catching up with me. I'm no spring chicken after all.
That's not the issue here. A most cunning excuse. One befitting an insidious insurgent.
Oh?
A killer who does not recall his crime. How very convenient. Next, I imagine you will plead insanity. You aim to seek a lesser sentence through excuses and subterfuge, do you not?
Don't make me laugh, Your Malevolence.
Oh, got her. How dare you?
I'm merely stating my innocence. I've no intention of offering excuses. It's your baseless speculation I would decry as foolish. You deceitful witch!
Is it your wish that I should claim your head right now, in this very hall?
Well, that would certainly speed things along.
Dirk, why don't you let me handle it from here? And if there's anything you need to say, you can say it through me, okay? Anything to stop you from needling the queen. Next time you have an objection, you'd better have some proof to go with it, Dirk.
The accused will continue with what he does recall of the crime.
Yikes. Careful, Dirk. Stop sassing. Now, the next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. Got it. Do you recall anyone putting the knife in your hand, Dirk?
Wish I could say I did, but I don't remember a thing from before I came to. You think there might have been a third party in the tomb, son?
Yeah, because if you didn't do it, then the real killer must have been there with you.
You called, Your Eminence?
Does she go anywhere without those goons? Was there a third party in the tomb when you were securing it?
No, Your Eminence. We searched high and low, but found no one of the sort.
And there you have it. Oh, right, they did search the place. Furthermore, my guards had the entire tomb surrounded, so there was no way for anyone to escape.
That's right. No one got in or out without our knowledge. Her Eminence's on-site directives were absolutely flawless.
Do you see now, the presence of a third party is beyond the realm of possibility. The tomb was, for all intents and purposes, completely sealed off from the rest of the world.
What a waste of time. How could it be any more obvious? Dirk must be the killer.
Thanks for nothing, gallery guy. As if our graves weren't already deep enough.
It's, Karine Jonah Jameson at it again. That Dirk's a menace!
Accused, what do you believe about the possible presence of a third party?
Well, based on the situation you presented, I'd say the chances are slim to none.
You didn't have to agree with her, Dirk. Let the accused statement be added to his testimony.
Very well, Mr. Satmadi, if you would.
It's like the more we press, the thinner our case gets. Well, let's keep pressing, and maybe we'll work out the wrinkles in it, too. Okay? The possibility of a third party being there in the tomb is probably non-existent. Okay, we'll come back to that statement, but let's press it for now. You can't prove you innocent without at least the possibility that the third party was there.
Find the possible in the impossible, son. That's just what a lawyer's got to do sometimes. Isn't that right? Right?
Oh, me? Yeah, you could say that. I've seen more than my fair share of trials like that. They'd start with no viable evidence, useful testimony, or any hope of winning. But through cold sweat, desperation, and a little luck, I always managed to pull them off. Probably non-existent means it wasn't non-existent. That's right.
Right? I can see we are kindred spirits, you and I.
Geez, taking cases like that must shave years off your life. If that were true, I'd be long dead. Find the possible in the impossible. Can I prove that it was at least possible that there was a third party there? Dirk, what did you see at the scene of the crime?
Let's see, I came to...
I felt like that was a big hint about what we have to do here, and this is to prove that at least there was a possibility that somebody was still there. My name was Inga, dead as a doornail. Okay? You stated that he was as dead as a doornail. How can you be so sure?
It's pretty easy to spot the difference between a soulless man and the soulless shell of a man. His complexion and the amount of blood at the scene made it obvious which it was.
Watch your words, or you shall join Minister Inga much sooner than expected. You can bow your head before him and seek his forgiveness there in the Twilight Realm. If you still have a head to bow, that is.
You bloodthirsty spider! What happened to you? There was still a little love in your heart 23 years ago. You even used to think of me as a brother.
It seems you truly do have a death wish.
Is that really all you got?
Dirk, I'm begging you, enough of the lip. Just deliver your testimony, please.
All right, I'll try, but I can't promise anything.
Yeah, he really is putting the sass in assassination. I have no recollection of what happened in the interim. Days passed since the murder. Haven't you remembered anything in that time?
My memory is a complete blank. It's as if that part of my brain has been scooped right out.
How very convenient. But even if you've no memory of the event, your guilt is without question. There is nothing more to debate.
You're forgetting one thing, Garon. I have no motive.
You lead a band of insurgents that seeks to overthrow the government. I would say that alone is motive enough to slay our kingdom's minister of justice. I like how coldly and dispassionately she's referring to her husband.
I've declared countless times that I lead a bloodless revolution. I forbid violence and murder, even if some younger members have a thirst for blood.
A bloodless revolution? He wouldn't really have a motive in that case. Except for that cave full of guns. I hope they don't bring that up. Is that an important statement? He wants to lead a Shh. Maybe? Sure? Yeah. Yes, it is. Sure. That was an important statement. I'd like my client to add it to his testimony.
Very well, then. The accused will please do as the defense has requested.
I don't have a motive for killing Inga. After all, me and my ilk seek a bloodless revolution. I don't think I want to... I don't want to object to that, so let's just press for now. A bloodless revolution. Could you be more specific?
I'm talking about dragging this pompous prosecutor here off her bloody throne. So go ahead, Garon. Act all high and mighty now, because it's the last chance you'll get.
You still speak of rebellion despite the charges against you. You truly are a fool. I will prove your guilt soon enough and display your head for all of Kurain to see. People will forever speak of you, not as a revolutionary, but as the terrorist you are.
You're mistaken, your maleficence. It will be you the people will speak of as the tyrant who was overthrown by her own people.
I wonder if you will still be spewing such nonsense before the headsman's axe.
Ha 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 ha! I'm afraid I'll still be like this in the afterlife, despot.
I know that self-restraint is as foreign as apple pie to Dirk, but I'd really rather go home than to the Twilight Realm after this. I didn't kill him, at least I don't think I did. Alright. Can you state that you didn't kill him more definitively?
How can I when I have no memory of what happened?
Well, can you at least state whether or not you're a murderer?
That I can do. I am not a murderer, and I would never kill anyone, no matter the circumstances.
And do you have any evidence to support your claim that you did not kill the minister?
Evidence? No, can't say I do.
In that case, you will strike the statement, I didn't kill him, from your testimony.
Wait, you can't just discard testimony like that.
I mean, I'm the one cross-examining the defendant and all. Hold your prattling tongue, foreign devil. I am the queen of this kingdom. And the queen is the law. As such, I need not follow the laws that are in place. I can make and break them at will.
Henceforth, the accused will refrain from stating, I didn't kill him. What? Sure, whatever. It's the Garon show, after all, same as always.
Yes, queen. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you have a source for your ruling?
The source is I made it up.
If only we could establish the possibility of a third party. But does the possibility itself even exist? We don't have a choice. Proving it exists is the only way to start a real dialogue here. Alright. Well, let's see. So I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. Alright, the possibility of a third party being there in the tomb is probably non-existent. This is a statement I think we can drill into. So let's see what we got. The tomb diagram, tomb crime photo, the gemstone, pink butterfly pendant, the mysterious bloodstain. Ah, an unidentified bloodstain from Amara's tomb. It was already wiped up and does not belong to the victim. That's right, because it was coming out of the sarcophagus, because remember, the sarcophagus is empty. Because she is not dead. That could be it. That could be it. Let's see. Got it. Your Eminence, I'm afraid this trial will not go exactly as you anticipated, because I can show how there might have been a third party in that tomb. Oh, how very fascinating. Go on, I do so love a good fairy tale. We did a luminol test at the crime scene, and we found a bloodstain that didn't match the Justice Minister's blood. I will remind you that neither Dirk nor Miss Faye were injured during the incident. The thing is, this bloodstain we found had been wiped up by someone.
What's this? But who would have done such a thing?
That's the big question, isn't it? Who wiped up the blood and why? Thinking about it logically, it must be someone who wanted to conceal their presence at the scene of the crime. Oh, and to whom do you suppose the bloodstain might belong? The bloodstain belongs to the real killer. Yeah. Can't be the victim. That'd be stupid. Amara. She's not even there. The real killer, right? The bloodstain belongs to the real killer, of course. Whoever it was, they were probably shot while they were attacking Minister Inga. And since their blood would give them away, they had to wipe it up. I say this because we know for a fact that the Justice Minister fired his gun in the tomb. You have the memory of a flea. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. This, too, is a known fact. But a bloodstain from a third party means there must have been someone hiding there. Very well, then. Tell me this. Where was this third party hiding? The crime scene was thoroughly searched after it was discovered. So if there was a hiding space, it would have had to be somewhere no one would dare look. Somewhere no one would dare look?
Let's have your answer, defense. Now, where could a third party have hidden?
In the sarcophagus. There it goes. We don't even have to move it. There's one place no one would search. Not even the Queen's Royal Guard. And that would be inside Queen Amara's sarcophagus. Even now, it's locked up tight. No one would find you if you hid in there. But it's locked, though. I'm told that it's temperature controlled to preserve the mummy within. But if someone dressed warmly enough, they could withstand the cold for a short time.
This is sacrilege! Surely the perpetrator of such a foul deed would be cursed!
But that's just it. The killer knew everyone would be too scared to open the sarcophagus. True, the guards were so scared of being cursed they wouldn't even touch it. And when the coast was clear, the killer made a quick escape from within their frigid confines.
Well now, that does sound like a plausible method of evading capture.
The defense requests a DNA test on the bloodstain, and then we'll see just who the real killer is. Bow your head and kneel, lawyer. So your head may be parted from your shoulders.
Huh? But the trial's not even over.
Whoa! Whoa! She's airbending like they do in the anime. How soon you forget. You are already on the headsman's scaffold. As such, I could order your beheading at any moment.
All I did was request a DNA test.
There is no need to request such a test. Royal Guard, bring it forth now.
Here you are, Your Eminence.
The police have already identified the source of the bloodstain. The DNA test revealed that the blood is of the traitor, Dirk Sadmadi.
What? But Dirk wasn't injured. So where did his blood come from?
Maybe he coughed it up. Dirk's illness. Still, there was a lot of blood. Could he have really coughed up that much? And did he wipe it up to hide his failing health? Dirk, is it really that bad?
Oh, shoot. You got me.
Mysterious. Wait, he's admitting to it? Pay attention, horned devil, for this case has already been solved. You claimed this bloodstain would lead to the real killer, did you not?
About that.
Did you or did you not make that claim of your own volition, defense?
Yes, I did.
After she steered you in that direction, that is. Oh, I fell right into her trap. Do you see now the folly in opposing the very embodiment of the law? Whatever you say or do shall come to no avail. A third party at the scene of the crime? It's beyond the realm of possibility.
No! Praise be for Queen Garon. Her Eminence's legal tactics are beyond compare.
I hate to say this, but she really got us good. The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. Can I really discount the sarcophagus as a hiding place, though? What if the real killer is still in there? No, that's just ridiculous. I believe we have rebels and sympathizers in the gallery today. It is to you I speak. Have you been listening? Dirk Sadmati, the one who proclaimed a bloodless revolt, has betrayed your cause by resorting to murder.
No, it can't be. Dirk would never. There must be some kind of mistake.
The Defiant Dragons and their sympathizers are starting to have doubts. So this is why Garon allowed us to cross-examine Dirk, by establishing his guilt in Inga's murder. She's effectively damaged his reputation among those who support him. True, but now we have an even bigger problem. And now, filthy lawyers, you will honor your end of the bargain, accept your guilty verdict for your failure to explain your client's actions.
The law. Huh?
Now, I shall pass judgment upon the criminal Dirk Sadmati.
What's this? You shall pass judgment? But, Your Eminence, is that not my role?
Hold your tongue. You are but a figurehead before me, the embodiment of law. Consider yourself dismissed.
Ouch! Poor judge.
As Queen of Khura'in, I shall now pass judgment upon the accused.
Ah! Rough.
Just like that.
Wait! You didn't even give me a chance to rebut!
No, and you're defeated, lawyer. But just this once. I am willing to show you the depths of my compassion. Tell me why I should allow these proceedings to continue. Come, convince me.
Quick, Apollo. Even if you have to bluff, we've got to keep this trial going.
Sure that the crime could have been committed by a third party.
How am I supposed to do that?
Oh, why don't you start with the, how about the timing of Inga's murder?
What?
This whole case is built on a single premise, that Inga was murdered after Dirk entered the tomb. But what if that's not true? Like, if our assumptions are all wrong? It just might work.
Well, don't keep us waiting, defense.
Dirk became the prime suspect because it didn't seem probable that there was a third party at the scene of the crime. But there is another question we should ask ourselves at this time. Was Minister Inga really killed after Dirk entered the tomb? What nonsense is this? Setting aside the assumption that the murder occurred after Dirk arrived on the scene opens up the possibility of a third party committing the crime. The question before us is, when was Minister Inga really killed? After the body was found, after Dirk entered the tomb, before Dirk entered the tomb. Okay, let's consider, right? Let me think about this. What we know. After the body was found, so that would mean Inga wasn't actually dead, and he was pretending to be dead, and they killed him? Huh. And that's the picture of his corpse, right? He had his phone, he had his gun, and he was stabbed. And that's the sarcophagus. We still have that broken one. I don't know what that's about. Of the terracotta army thing. Oh, that's right, the channeling thing. Sorry, I'm getting off track here, but like, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about. Amara's assassination, Dirk's badge. So after the that would basically mean that he was pretending to be dead, and then the guard killed him? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. After Dirk entered the tomb, that is already the presumption we have, right? The presumption they have, not us, because our client's innocent, obviously. He went in and killed Inga. So that is kind of the status quo we're dealing with right now, and we're trying to get rid of. So I would say the most likely thing is before Dirk entered the tomb. So Inga was already dead before Dirk got there. That has to be it, right? Of all those three, that one sounds the most likely. Because remember, Dirk went in and he had no memory of what was happening, right? He went in, he blacked out, and then he was standing over Inga with the knife. So Inga might have already been dead. He might have just picked up the knife. I don't know why, but we'll see. Dirk entered the tomb before. Let's see. Isn't it possible that before Dirk even set foot in the tomb, Minister Inga was already dead?
That would certainly make the possibility of a third party more probable.
Why, of course. I fell unconscious right after I entered the tomb. Even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had a clear line of sight to his body from the entrance. Which means...
You wouldn't have noticed his body either way. This scenario is entirely possible. And so we can't rule out the possibility of a third person committing the crime.
I see. Well, that certainly does make sense.
So far, so good. This might actually work. Very well. I shall play along with whatever little game you have knocking around in that tiny mind. I was starting to get quite bored of all this. I could do with a distraction. Yes. Let us hear some testimony that will shed light on when exactly the minister was slain. Bailiff, summon Rifa. Surely she has recovered by now.
Oh. But what about me? Don't I serve a purpose anymore?
Nope. Sorry, Judge. You're sitting in the judge chair.
I hope you're feeling better, Your Benevolence.
Must I perform the divination seance?
What? Oh, no, we merely require your testimony this time.
How could my testimony be of any value?
Your Benevolence.
Princess Rifa seems awfully depressed. After what she's been through, summoning her again is like rubbing salt in the wound. Being unable to perform the seance was probably the last straw. I hope she doesn't pass out again. Prosecutor Sadmati, may I ask you something? Of course, Your Benevolence. I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara? And about me? From where did you hear such a thing?
About you?
From Mother. And only yesterday. Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people, so I told her what the truth really was. For it is up to a mother to discipline her child. I see. Be that as it may, Your Benevolence. It has no bearing upon our trial here today, so there is no need to let it trouble you. I know. Garon told Rafa about something other than Amara's status? Sounds like it, but what could it be? Rafa, the defense has proposed something preposterous. They somehow think your father was already dead when Dirk entered the tomb. But I believe you can prove them wrong. Are you prepared to do what is required of you? Yes, I am ready to testify.
Very well then, Your Benevolence. Your testimony, if you please.
What Rafa witnessed. On the day of the murder, I was gazing upon the courtyard from my second-floor veranda. Around 2:30 p.m., I saw my father heading for Amara's tomb. Then at about 2:45, I saw Barbed Head and company enter the courtyard. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered at about 2:30. Okay. Your second-floor veranda? Oh, she must be talking about that house facing Inga's private residence. So that's the location from which you saw your father? And at about 2:30? Yes, and shortly after that, You people arrived at the royal residence.
So after the minister entered Amara's tomb at around 2:30, no one went in or out until the murder was discovered?
The tomb is closed to outsiders, so no one could have snuck in before the murder. That rules out any possibility of a third party lying in wait to slay my poor husband. Or she'd like us to believe. Now hear me, you useless lawyer. Cease this charade and bow before me, for I, Queen Garon, shall finally have your head.
Forgive me, Your Eminence, but first, let us allow the defense to question the witness.
Is the judge a rebel? That would be interesting. What does she mean, you people? Yeah. What do you mean by that? What Rafa witnessed. Steeler fan. That is a pretty cool fan. On the day of the murder, I was gazing upon the courtyard from my second floor veranda. You say you'd been watching the courtyard until we arrived, correct? That seems like an awfully long time. There is much that weighs on my mind. I see. She really does sound troubled. I don't think she ever fully recovered from the previous trial. Right, that's the one with the head monk, right? Yeah, many things that you alone must determine how to keep... Yeah, it was basically, you're going to be queen someday, and you're going to have to figure this out for yourself. I'm even up to the task, right? She has to think about that. I guess it's not easy being a princess. Your benevolence? I'd be happy to lend an ear if you'd ever like to talk. What would you know of my woes? You do not presume to exceed your station in life! Sheesh, teenagers.
Your Benevolence, what did you witness from your veranda?
Well... Around 2:30, I saw my father heading for Amara's tomb. Did your father seem different or troubled in any way? Let me think. Oh, there was one unusual thing. There was? Yes, a shriek emanated from within my father's quarters. After which I witnessed him bolt outside, his countenance drained of its usual color. He screamed and he was looking pale? What do you suppose happened? I know not. Perhaps he had a bad dream. Maybe it was a nightmare about being raked over the coals by the queen. It seems our young lawyer here wishes to hasten his journey to the Twilight Realm.
Sorry, that was rude of me. Does the defense believe the witness's last statement to be important?
I believe it is. I would like the witness to add it to her testimony. It didn't even ask us, it's just automatically adding it. My father let out a scream and came dashing out of his room, his face pale. Well, remember he had back pain? The medication Inga used for his back pain said to make the pain disappear. Hair, bright glasses, diamond chip tattoo, long hair, eye patch, blue clothes. Okay, this is unrelated, but I have a theory for this. Somebody is getting channeled, I think. Somebody is getting channeled, and this is for whenever somebody is channeled, they can recognize who these people are by their outfits and their appearances. That's what I think. But we'll get... I'm sure we're going to get to that later. That's why I think those notes are there. He let out a scream, huh? And he ran his face pale. Huh. Okay. Well, let's just keep going for now. And why do you think he screamed? Was he surprised by someone who didn't belong there? Did anyone else come out? I didn't see anyone else, just my father. That last statement was seriously lacking in conviction. Should I press her on this? Be nice and let it be press softly or press harshly? Let's press softly. Your benevolence. Yes. This incident was a real shock to us all. It must have been really terrible for you. But I want to let you know, I know how you feel. Please, stop. You presume too much. It's times like these that you need something to take your mind off things.
How about we all go on a picnic together or something?
This isn't pressing softly.
I need no sympathy from you. Go on your little picnic alone, hornhead.
Well, that didn't go well. Apollo, you have to take a more aggressive approach with people like her. Yeah, he's probably right. Now, back to my testimony. So we have to repress harder, basically. I saw a barbed head and company enter the courtyard. Let's finish this and then we'll do it again.
2:45. Yes, I believe that's around when we arrived. Mr. Wright, Athena, Dirk, and I were running toward the tomb.
Yes, I was taken aback as we don't normally see commoners in the palace courtyard. Even more shocking was that Dirk, a wanted man, was with you.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I thought the villainous leader of the Defiant Dragons was here with his minions. Because it was, time for a revolution.
I think you've been watching too much of that TV show.
That's right. Because he's the bad guy in that show.
I've already banned its broadcast for containing content unsuitable for our kingdom.
Besides, the actress playing Rafa looked nothing like her. I can't have my subjects feeling so disappointed when they see the real Rafa. Ouch!
But Mother! Why are you so cruel to me? Are you so ashamed? Once I'm all grown up, I shall be just as full-figured as that actress.
Oh my gosh, seriously? She's placing all her hopes on one final growth spurt.
For her sake, I hope it's in her DNA.
I suppose you could always hope for a miracle.
Oh, I'll show you. I shall double my milk intake and grow up big and strong. There, Your Benevolence. I think you'll find just the way you are. Now, may I ask that you continue with your testimony?
I wish I could grow up faster.
Oh, gosh.
I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered about 2:30.
Yeah, that was weird. Is it possible you missed seeing someone pass through?
No, my veranda has a commanding view of the entire grounds and I saw no one else.
But that doesn't seem right somehow.
Do not underestimate my daughter. She may be lacking elsewhere, but her eyes are the finest.
Jeez, stop it! Lacking elsewhere?
Talk about a mother I'd never wish on my worst enemy. She needs Nana now more than ever. Her father let out a scream and ran outside all pale-faced? That sounds pretty serious.
What do you suppose happened in his private quarters?
Yeah, that's the question we gotta answer, right? So, we gotta press harshly here, I guess? Let's see. Press harshly. Let's try it.
Your Benevolence, let's have some details. The more, the better. Details, you say?
Yes. For example, are you sure you didn't see anyone in the royal residence before 2:30?
Well, is that a yes or a no? Foreign devil, I'd be gazing upon the courtyard since about 2 yesterday, yet I saw none other than my father. Oh, if only I had stopped him then.
I think you've struck a nerve, a rather obliterated one.
Maybe I pressed a little too hard.
Still, that last statement seemed a little off somehow. So you didn't see anyone except your father in the courtyard after 2 p.m., huh?
Please add that to your testimony, Your Benevolence.
Huh. Wait. I'd been gazing upon the courtyard since about 2, but father was the only one I saw, okay? Do we have anything else that might have happened? Painkiller Inga, the photo, channeling... Oh! I can't remember when Dirk was supposed to meet with Inga. I thought it was 2, but maybe... I think it was 3. I think it was 3 that when Dirk was supposed to meet Inga. At around 2 p.m., Dats leapt out of a bizarre manhole, got yelled at by a dog in a warbad, and then threw a firecracker. The shocked look on Albie's face had Dats in stitches when the police came along and detained the rebel. The noise spooked Shadow, who ran off. When Albie caught up to him in the courtyard, Shadow had what looked to be Nana's hat. And he also knocked over the vase, right? So that's not true. She had to have seen Shadow. And she even mentioned that. She said it was a mutt. It was an annoying mutt or something like that that knocked over a common Dats W. Yeah, seriously. Dats is the best. All right, objection. Your benevolence? You're covering for someone, aren't you? Huh? Are you covering for Albie? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, Rafa, but you're not gonna like this. Well, the thing is, I have a statement here that you might find interesting. It's from a witness who claims that around 2 p.m., his dog got loose and ran into the palace courtyard. That's when the little fella stole this hat from someone. Ah, that's Nina's. I mean, nothing, never mind. You fool of a daughter. It seems the princess made a blunder. So let me get this straight. This is Nana's hat, which means she had to have been in the royal residence at about 2. If so, then you had to have seen Nana sometime after 2 p.m. yesterday. Oh, no! Please, your benevolence, tell us what you really saw. It is as you say, Hornhead. I saw Nana, and I saw that dingbat dog steal her hat from her in front of my father's residence. I knew it. Why didn't you say so in the first place? Because my mother told me not to. What? Would you care to explain, Your Eminence? I requested she withhold said information, for it is of no relevance to this case. You don't get to decide. If you disagree, then prove that it is relevant to this case at hand. Oh, I will. Your benevolence, please tell us everything you witnessed when you saw Nana. All right. When I saw that dingbat dog attack Nana, I ran to help. I raced from my second-floor veranda down into the courtyard. Wait, that means that while you were coming down, you took your eyes off the courtyard. Yes, but only for a moment. This is crucial testimony. If you took your eyes off the courtyard, it means somebody else could have entered the tomb without you ever knowing. Ah, your benevolence? Are you sure no one else was there? Oh, yes. She's hiding something again. What about Nana? Were you able to help her? When I got down to the courtyard, Nana was... she was gone. Gone? Yes, and I never saw her again after that. Any idea what happened? That dingbat dog must have gobbled her up. I seriously doubt that. But how could Nana simply disappear while Rafa wasn't looking? Rafa must know something. The only question is what? Why Shadow was in the courtyard, where Nana disappeared to, why Nana disappeared. I think that one, because, I mean, we know why Shadow was in the courtyard, that's obvious. Where Nana disappeared to, I mean, if she knew where Nana disappeared to, she'd find her, but she seems kind of forlorn about that. So why she disappeared makes the most sense. Why do you suppose Nana disappeared? Even an educated guess would help. For example, maybe she got fed up with you acting like a spoiled child. You know, something like that. Such impudence! Nana would not leave me merely for acting spoiled. You're not even going to deny your behavior? In any case, it seems I was wrong. Moving right along. Rafa must know something. The only question is what? Where she disappeared to, I guess? Do you have any idea where Nina disappeared to? What do you mean? Well, during the time you took your eyes off the courtyard, someone could have headed into the tomb. And it just so happens that Nana disappeared right at that moment. No! Wait, you think Nana had something to do with the murder? I don't think we can rule it out. It sounds like something had kept Nana occupied since the early morning. Plus, she was seen right before the murder, and then seemed to vanish into thin air. You're right. And since she's Rafa's attendant, She could come and go as she pleased within the palace grounds. Could Rafa's attendant really be the killer? But that would mean... First my father and now Nena. These were the people I trusted most. How could this be? Do not heed their lies. Lawyers are a foul breed, quick to claim that a third party is to blame for a crime. Nena did not enter the tomb, that much is certain. How can you be so sure? When Nena's hat was stolen, that crazed cur spilled an urn full of water upon my husband's doorstep. Is that not right, Rafa? Yes it is. Oh man, Nena was actually the Phantom all along? No, not again! While that dingbat dog was tugging on Nena's hat, it tipped over the urn. The bottoms of her shoes would have been soaked with water, and if she had truly headed into the tomb with wet shoes, she would have left shoe prints along the way. But the only shoe prints to be found belonged to my husband, Inga. Huh? Then... That's right. Nena never did go into the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters. How do you know? It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters. Shoe prints that belonged to Nena. That's right. Edgeworth and I did see some shoe prints in there. Now do you understand? Nena could not possibly have gone into the tomb, and that supposed third person at the crime scene is but a figment of your imagination.
Another glorious deduction. All hail the genius that is Her Eminence Queen Garon. Bow down before her glory, witless lawyer.
Could these guys fanboy any harder? Is fanboying a verb now? But is it really true? Did Nena not go into the tomb? Excuse me, but... Mr. Wright? Your benevolence, what time was it when that dog attacked Nena? I believe it was about 2:15 p.m. I see. Apollo? If Nena entered Inga's private quarters at around 2:15, and Inga came racing out at around 2:30, pale-faced and screaming, then... Oh! I know what you're getting at. Yes, that might explain his scream.
Will the defense please share their theory regarding Justice Minister Inga's scream?
Certainly, Your Majesty. Minister Inga screamed because he had a bad dream. He had a bad dream and he wanted someone to kiss it and make it better. He saw a ghost. He was attacked by Nena. Did he see a ghost? Not like the whole thing with channeling, right? I think some kind of channeling has been going on. So he saw a ghost isn't outside of the realm of possibility, but I think we're going to go with he was attacked by Nena at first. Let's see. Maybe he was attacked by Nena. This would make the Justice Minister's private quarters the real scene of the crime. Does your idiocy know no bounds? The minister's body was found in the tomb. Or are you suggesting that the body was moved? Do I think the minister was moved from his private quarters? I think the possibility... Let's see... Well... Does it exist or does it not exist? That is a question, right? That we have to answer. I think... The possibility... I mean, it has to exist, right? Because he was found there. Right? He could have been stabbed in the back, ran out into the area, into the tomb, and then bled out, maybe? Would Rafa not have noticed the knife in his back, though? Or, I don't know. Maybe he was murdered there, but we didn't... Well, no. Did we do a luminol test in his quarters? I don't think we did. Either way, it exists. Considering the fact that the body was found in the tomb, I'd say there is a possibility. What utter nonsense. Rafa had been watching the courtyard. Yet you would suggest that someone could have transported the body unnoticed. You have a point there. In that case, I'd say there's no way that the body was moved. After all, there was an awful lot of blood in the tomb. I understand that the scream was in reaction to Naina's attack, but Inga died in the tomb. We need to explain how those two realities could coincide. How are we supposed to do that? Oh, maybe where he was stabbed and where he died were two completely different locations. What do you mean? It's just, let's look at this as simply as possible. If the minister's body wasn't moved, he might have been stabbed by Naina in his private quarters. Ouch. But then died in the tomb.
I see. On the one hand, that seems plausible, but on the other, it seems decidedly implausible.
Prosecutor Sedmati, what is that foul fool babbling on about now? Is this a riddle from one of those fortune cookies Americans seem to be so fond of? Perhaps. But I believe he himself does not know what he means to say. In all likelihood, it was a poor attempt to confuse us. We should simply ignore him.
I wasn't finished yet, so hold off on the analysis, would you?
The autopsy report never stated that the minister's death was instantaneous, so he could have conceivably moved from one place to another after being stabbed. That's what I was thinking.
Oh my! Are you suggesting he ran all the way to the tomb with a knife sticking out of his back?
Well, yes, that's the gist of it. In short, Minister Inga saw Naina with a knife, let out a scream, and when he turned his back to her to flee, right, and that's when he was stabbed from behind. Well, Your Majesty, does my theory hold water? How dare you bore me like this? Huh? You are a humorless moron, spewing an endless stream of unamusing drivel. I wasn't trying to be funny, Your Eminence. Prosecutor, enlighten this ignorant clown in lawyer's clothing. Your Eminence.
Ha! Nayuta?
You dull, slow-witted, putrid-minded lawyer. Perhaps you would be too stupid to notice who'd been stabbed in the back. But a normal person would have noticed due to the excruciating pain.
Now, hold on. Oh, he wouldn't have noticed. He wouldn't have noticed because he had his back pain medicine in.
Allow me to teach you the meaning of pain.
Please stop!
Nayuta has a point. Normally, most people would notice a dagger in their back.
Oh, yeah, I doubt someone could ignore pain like this.
Still, in this case, it's the word normally that we should emphasize. Apollo, take another look at the court record. Right. There must be something that explains this. There's a reason Inga didn't feel any pain, and the defense will submit evidence proving just that.
Very well, please present your evidence. Why didn't Justice Minister Inga notice that he'd been stabbed?
Duh, the painkiller shot said to make the back pain disappear. If he was totally numb back there, he wouldn't have even noticed. Those are my father's painkiller shots.
The defense will explain the significance of this evidence.
Minister Inga suffered from terrible back pain, so he often injected himself with these. We're told that one shot in the back would make all of his pain go away. With this, it's easy to explain what happened. Don't tell me you didn't know about these, Your Eminence. You can't mean... Minister Inga was stabbed in his back, close to where he usually injected the painkiller. Therefore,
it's entirely possible that he hadn't noticed that he'd been stabbed. What's this? Then, Are you suggesting Justice Minister Inga really ran off with a knife protruding from his back?
I am, Your Majesty. So then, when I saw my father, he had a knife sticking out of him? I mean, with that cape of his, I couldn't see his back very well. Yes, the knife was there. It was just plunged in so deep you didn't notice it under the cape. Therefore, when you saw your father, he was already dead. Murdered by Nena in his private quarters. Ouch.
Pokunka!
We missed the luminol test reaction. Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna have another investigation section or if this is like pure trial from this point onward.
Holy Mother of Karainin! Are we dealing with the living dead here?
Well, technically, he wasn't dead yet. This might be a case of the dead rising. I know it's hard to believe, but this is a plausible sequence of events. And once Minister Inga arrived at the tomb, he could have removed the knife and dropped dead from blood loss. It could also be a resident evil we're having to deal with. Nena killed my father. There must be some mistake.
The defense would like to call Nena to the stand.
You seek to drag an innocent old woman to the stand with no proof whatsoever?
Well,
There's no real proof, but... What a tangled web of expedient lies you weave. I can no longer tell fact from fiction. Who or what shall I believe in now? I'm sorry, Rafa. All I've done is confuse you. But I have a sneaking suspicion Nena's involved in this case, one way or another. Just when I thought we'd blown this case wide open. Well, there's no turning back now. You fool of a lawyer. I know why you're so desperate to prove the accused innocent. You do? Yes, because he faces public execution if proven guilty, as shall you, under the stipulations of the Defense Culpability Act. From the moment you accepted this case, you have had no choice but to fight for your lives. No, the simple fact is I've always believed that Dirk is innocent. Still you cling to your pretense? Very well. I shall offer you a bargain. If you would admit that the accused is guilty, right here, right now, I shall overlook your crime of abetting him, and you will not be subject to execution.
is this some sort of joke?
Far from it. As queen, I have the power to grant pardons, even to criminals like you. And with the wave of my hand, I can even reduce the severity of a sentence. Perhaps even for Dirk, should you be willing to cooperate. She wasn't kidding when she said that she's the law here. But to flaunt that power in our faces like that? That's just wrong. Forget all that has transpired in our kingdom and return to your own country in peace. Well, will you abandon your defense of the accused and accept my generous offer? If I don't take this deal, we'll be executed along with Dirk if he's found guilty. What should I do? Abandon the defense? No. Continue. Come on. The reason she's doing this is because we're getting close to the truth. Do it. Nice try, Garon, but it looks like you don't know what justice is made of. We don't kowtow to threats like that, Your Eminence. Huh? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but I can't back down now. I don't want to drag you into this, so don't worry. I'm with you, Apollo. To the bitter end, if need be. And while I can't say I'm used to it, this isn't exactly my first rodeo. But if I'm found guilty, you'll get the death penalty too. Even knowing that, you still want to defend me? I don't know what happened in the past, but it looks like everyone in this country considers lawyers to be liars. So I can understand if you don't believe me, but I still believe in you and your innocence. So all I have to do is keep believing and find the truth. That's all there is to it. So keep on fighting, Apollo. You'll hear no objections from me. You nincompoops! You'll die if you lose this case. Why would you even entertain the notion of continuing? I believe that Dirk is innocent. That's why. And besides, trials exist to give the truth a chance to get out into the open. You can't give up just because you're afraid of some punishment. Even if that punishment is death? Does that not frighten you, Hornhead? Who wouldn't be scared? I mean, just thinking about it. It makes me weak in the knees, to be honest. But as a lawyer, I have a duty to protect my client. I can't just abandon that. A duty you're willing to die for. And yet, Duty. It's a heavy burden, all right. Rafa looks like she's really struggling. Yes, Miss Crown Princess, you're destined to rule this kingdom one day. This is the second time we've seen this flashback. Yes, she's gonna have to do a lot of stuff when she's queen. This is all about her development and her understanding to be a better queen than her mother was, if that is even her mother. I'm starting to think that she might be Nayuta's sister. But it's no surprise, considering the torrent of painful truths she's had to face.
Very well, then.
Great flashback, 10 out of 10. I play it on loop when you're not streaming. I know, right? It's a great one.
If the defense is prepared to face the death sentence under the Defense Culpability Act, then I see no reason not to continue with the proceedings. But I must admit, I see no grounds for doubting the accused's guilt.
Unless the defense has further evidence that would indicate a different suspect. Do we have anything like that? Well, lawyer, do you have any new evidence you would care to present? Or shall I have the executioner start his preparations? If she thinks I can't do this, she's got another thing coming. But first, I have some serious thinking to do. I'd say that new evidence indicating a different suspect. Okay, so I hate to do this, but like, the only thing that I can think of is that Rafa, we still don't have the divination seance. So, that is the core thing that would prove what happened to Inga. So, I feel like we're being led into having to force this to, like, be what happened. We have to do the divination seance, right? Though, what does the game want me to say? Does it say exists? Like, we have evidence in the record, or does not exist yet? Let's say does not exist, because that, I think, is going to lead us to the divination seance faster. Let's see. Such evidence does not exist. Just as I thought. I was so hoping you'd present meaningless evidence and allow me to claim your head. Glad I didn't walk headfirst into that one, then. So what now, Apollo? Well, unless we can prove that Nana killed Inga, this trial is over, and so are we. Isn't there still a way to get the proof we need? Even without evidence? You know, a key means of obtaining testimony here in Karine. Huh? Wait, are you actually suggesting? I thought that's where we were going, guys. Come on, keep up. It certainly won't be easy, but it's worth a try. Your Majesty, a crucial step in uncovering the truth behind this case has yet to be taken in this trial. But I'm positive that I can back up our claim with this one step.
You mean you will be able to prove that Nana killed Justice Minister Inga? And just how do you propose to do that?
With the help of a certain someone.
You need help?
From someone?
Well, I can't imagine who it could be. But I suppose I must ask.
It's Widget, yes.
Whose help do you need to uncover the truth?
Athena Sykes and Widget, no. Miles Edgeworth, we need his logic. No, it's Rafa, yeah.
But that is...
Me? Here in Karine, legal proceedings include the viewing of a victim's final moments. But that requires your benevolence's help. Such information is just as vital as any other piece of conclusive evidence. If you're right about this, Rafa's power should enable her to see the very moment Nina stabbed Inga.
It'll be hard to watch your father's murder, but it's the only way to uncover the truth. Your benevolence, we need you and your power. You need me? Wretched simpleton, did you not see what ensued in the previous attempt? You would only succeed in wasting more time. Or is it your goal to make her collapse again? The princess said she was prepared earlier. Besides, it's her duty as royal priestess. I'd say it's all up to her now. Am I prepared? Prepared to fulfill my duty? Isn't a divination seance required at all trials anyway? If so, I imagine there'd be a problem with handing down a verdict without one.
Indeed, it would be problematic. Under Kuraini's law, a seance must be conducted before a verdict can be rendered. Yikes!
Must you try my patience so? If I must dispense with that vexing law, then dispense with it I shall. Huh? As ruling sovereign of Kurain, I proclaim the following.
Ah, you're writing with your fingernails.
Henceforth, the divination seance shall be optional.
What? She has the power to do that?
Yeah. She just rewrote the law with a flourish of her hand.
Mother, I do not wish for the trial to end like this. It is as the defense said. I must not neglect my duty simply because I'm afraid. I shall go through with it this time. I will conduct the seance once more. Rafa, do not be fooled by his loyally guile. You are not prepared to witness your father's death. But Hornhead needs my help. Rafa, did you not tell me earlier? Did you not tell me you were prepared? But despite your grandiose posturing, you collapsed in a most piteous fashion. Even worse, you have erred in your insights of late, for has not the barbed one there overturned them more than once? Oh. You cannot be trusted to keep your word, nor can you reveal the truth through your insights. So I say to you, begone! This sacred hall of justice has no need for such a worthless royal priestess. Worthless? Wow, how can she say that to her own daughter? So, Mother, you think me worthless? Her benevolence says she can do it, doesn't she? So I don't see why you have to condemn her before she's even made the attempt. Very well, horned devil. If you really are so bent on having a seance, I shall give my consent. Really? However, should Rafa fail once more, you two and the accused shall all be executed on the spot. Come again? This is proving to be far more entertaining than I had anticipated. Well, lawyer, what say you? Will you wager your life and call on Rafa to perform a divination seance?
Yes, we gotta do it.
I don't think you're worthless, your benevolence. Far from it, in fact. If you say you can do it, then I believe in you. Hornhead? I do not understand. If I fail, you will be put to death. I know you collapsed during your previous attempt.
Yeah, we saw that. Hashtag parent of the year. Yeah. Garon, the heel turn for Garon was pretty abrupt and pretty intense.
I can't imagine how terrible it must have been for you. But despite that, you are willing to try again. I have faith in that conviction, in that courage. My courage? Ah, so she was doomed to fail if she didn't have the courage to perform the seance.
But it looks like she's got the determination to try again.
Right, and that's a bet I'm willing to take. But it is as Mother said, I've erred in my insights as of late.
And not only have I failed to reveal the truth, I've also contributed to false accusations. Knowing that, can you still say that you believe in me? I wouldn't take stock in those words, Your Benevolence, despite what your mother says. I don't think you've made any errors at all. Huh? In the trials I've been a part of here in Khura'in, I would have never proven my clients innocent without your seances. Because even though they didn't always reflect the absolute truth, the insights they provided served as vital leads to finding the truth. Vital leads? My seances? So please, Your Benevolence, try to perform the divination seance one more time! Rafa, the real divination seance was in your heart all along, that's right. The real divination was the friends she made along this game. Rafa, stop this madness. It is for your own good. You are ill-prepared to face your father's death. Go, leave this sacred hall at once. No. What did you say? I said no, Mother! For I am the royal priestess of Khura'in. I have no need for you now. Even if you do not need me, Mother. Hornhead in this Hall of Justice do. He proved that to me by risking his own life. It is because of him that I now understand. The divination seance is my sacred duty. I must fulfill it, no matter the risk. Your Benevolence. Mother taught me that the divination seance was a mirror reflecting naught but the truth. But I began to have my doubts after Barbed had disproved the insights it offered. And now, I don't even know who or what to trust anymore. Father, Mother, even Nena. I had believed in them above all others. But I finally know now. I know in what I can trust. The royal priestess must debate each seance with the presiding lawyer and prosecutor. So that it can be interpreted properly. That is how I believe trials here in Khura'in should function. Therefore, the Hall of Justice needs me. It is my power that leads trials toward the truth. That is my sacred duty, and I will never shirk from it again. Yeah, that's right. She's gotten over her character development sickness, and now she is. Her arc is finishing here. That right there, Your Benevolence, is the product of what you've learned in your struggles so far. The truth that you realize with your own strength. As my sacred duty, I must ensure that it is fulfilled. I must have the courage and resolve to see it through. Your Eminence, the royal priestess says she will conduct the divination seance. I see no grounds for you to forbid it. Unless, of course, you are worried that it might reveal something you find inconvenient. Mother. Jokes aside, I've enjoyed her character development, both the direction and pacing. Yeah. No, she's had a great character arc. She's a very well-written character. I've really enjoyed Rafa. Resolve? Wait a minute. That's from the Great Ace Attorney. The resolve of Ryonosuke Naruhodo. Mother, I am done letting you have your way. Rafa, you would actually rebel against me, your mother and queen? Though I am scared to see my father's death. I must face my fear. That is what Hornhead has taught me here today. Rafa. It's time for Rafa to face full life consequences.
I am the royal priestess, Rafa Padma Khura'in. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
Yeah. Your Eminence, it seems the princess is more grown up than you thought. Rafa.
Well then, let us proceed with the divination seance.
The victim's final moments. This should be interesting. I wonder what Inga's memories are going to show us. Me too. Me too.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
All right, let's get to it. It worked! I think. Oh, it did. Incense, grapes, sour. He's drinking wine. Wait. He's in footsteps. Are those his footsteps? Man's voice. He's looking at the pain. Footsteps. What? Why can't he see the face? Explosion. Laughter. Oh. Wait a minute. Did he shoot Dirk? What? What in the...
A faceless being?
What the heck? His face is just like that picture of the founder. We know... Wait. Dirk wasn't channeling the Holy Mother, was he? I think that's the last thing anyone expected to see. Oh, Father. What was it? What was it you saw?
Are we to understand that this was the last thing the victim saw?
Yes, there can be no mistake. That was what my father himself witnessed.
How very strange. You don't suppose the Holy Mother possessed the accused and slew Minister Inga for planning a coup?
Judge, you're thinking oddly along the lines I was thinking. The divine wrath of the Holy Mother. Oh, Holy Mother, we are ever grateful for your blessings. Talk about a sharp left turn into the Twilight Zone. No, it's the Twilight Realm. You know, there's one thing in there that caught my attention. What is? That laugh. Who does it belong to and why are they laughing? Who knows? No, I suppose it could be Dirk after he slew my husband. Uh-huh. That figure didn't even have a mouth. Oh, I think we're done here, lawyer. How so? You claim that Minister Inga was stabbed in his private quarters. Ouch. And feeling no pain, went to the tomb where he eventually fell dead. But this seance vision proves he was stabbed in the tomb and felt great pain, no less. Oh, that. Therefore, as I asserted all along, it was the accused who stabbed the minister in the tomb. Ugh, everything just backfired big time. Wow, Garon has the devil's own luck, doesn't she? Is it really luck when you can just rewrite the law at will? Now then, I shall give voice to the soul of the deceased. Listen well and heed these words. Rafa's insight. At around 3 p.m., my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. He was drinking grape juice while gazing upon the picture of the Holy Mother. He had been waiting vigilantly when suddenly he heard Dirk's voice. The next moment, he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed and the attacker let out a laugh. I don't think he missed. So what now, Mr. Wright? It's up to us to knock holes in Rafa's interpretation of Inga's memories. In other words, we need to prove that her understanding of them could be mistaken. Okay, I'll give it a try. Alright, hang on. Was eating, he was drinking grape juice. He'd been willing when he suddenly heard Dirk's voice. Okay. Can I see for a second? The next moment he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed. Wait a minute. Can I go? I just noticed something. Yeah, this was something that bothered me. So he's walking, right? Footsteps. He hears the man's voice. What does he do? And more importantly, what does he not do? He just keeps looking. He's staring at the Holy Mother picture, and that was what was weird to me. He heard this man's voice, and he was standing there the whole time looking at the Holy Mother. He was not looking at the man who was talking to him. You would think if it was Dirk, he would immediately turn around. Right? But no, he's standing there, like, just staring. And it was only then where he had the pain, right? So I think that is a contradiction.
Objection!
Your benevolence, there seems to be an inconsistency in your interpretation. An inconsistency? Where? Minister Inga is far too relaxed for what was supposedly about to take place. When he heard the voice you claim is Dirk's, he didn't seem the least bit alarmed. He just kept looking at the picture of the founder. Ah! That's strange, right? He was waiting for Dirk to arrive with the founder's orb. But when he heard the voice, he didn't even turn to look. Don't you think he would have been worried about being attacked from behind? Oh! Then whose voice was it? It was likely someone whose presence wouldn't have alarmed him. Someone like a friend. But there was no third party at the scene of the crime. Therefore, the voice can only have belonged to Dirk. The voice of a third party who wasn't there in the tomb. Apollo, don't we have something that could reveal the owner of the mystery voice? You know, I think we do. Something that Inga had while he was waiting for Dirk. With it, we just might be able to figure out whose voice it was. I believe we can identify the male voice Minister Inga heard with this. Okay, what was it? Oh, his phone! His phone! He was on the phone. That's my father's... I know this must be hard for you, but could you please look at this photo? There's something here that can point us toward the identity of the voice. It's the phone. Who is phone? This is the real source of the man's voice. The phone. A cell phone? Right. I believe that the voice the minister heard was of a call on this cell phone.
I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. What is your eminence's view on the matter?
I concede the possibility. Then it seems I must refine my vision. Alright, incense subordinate's voice. It appears that the voice belonged to one of my father's subordinates. Okay. Why do you suppose he was talking to one of them? My father had members of the secret police positioned throughout the palace. They were supposed to contact him as soon as they saw Dirk and the rest of you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Your benevolence, I believe you have an insight to revise. I know, Bobbed Head. Don't presume to tell me how to do my duty. Insight revised. So, he had been waiting. My father then took a call from a subordinate at the palace. Got it. So the voice was coming from the phone. That's good to know. But there might have been other sounds coming from the phone. Sounds that could be clues. Let's take another look at Rafa's insights and really focus on the various sensations. Was the laughter the person on the phone? Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this now. Yeah. Alright, hang on. Incense, sour, right. What do we... He was drinking grape juice. Footsteps. That's his footsteps then, right? Incense, subordinate's voice. Alright. Lion's... Wait. A lion's roar and a dog's bark. That's weird. Wait, can we go back for a second? He hears a lion's roar, which would be a warbod. So he hears a warbod, and then a dog. A dog, it's Shadow. He hears Shadow, right? Next moment he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. Oh, hearing the dog's bark. Ah. Let's see. From the market. Is he hearing Dats laughing? Oh, you're right. He might be. He might be. You're right. That's a really good thing to point out. So, let's see. So it wouldn't have been around 3 p.m., right? Or, hang on a second. My father then took a call from a subordinate at the palace. Let's see. He was drinking grape juice. The subordinate wasn't at the palace. Because we would have heard a dog's... actually, I think the lion roar is a little bit more. So the laughter probably was Dad's. Yeah. Hang on. And lion's roar. Yeah, a subordinate at the palace. So he heard the warbod, and then he heard Shadow, and then he probably heard Dad's laughing. Yeah, you're right. So it is... Oh, it's the lion's roar isn't fully there yet. Hang on. There. Now we can select it. Yeah, it's not a subordinate to the palace. It's in the market. I hate to break it to you, Your Benevolence, but you misinterpreted something again. What do you mean? Again? Smooth move, Apollo. I think you just hurt her feelings. She may put on a brave face, but she feels more than she lets on. Let me rephrase that, Your Benevolence. Your interpretation of your father's phone call to his subordinate at the palace is inconsistent with his final memory. What do you mean by that? A lion's roar could be heard over the phone. Don't you find that strange? You claim the call was with someone at the palace. Apollo should watch his tone, considering Rafa is sticking her neck out for him too. Yeah, seriously. But let me ask you, do you keep lions there? No, the only animals at the palace are little birdies and my pet frog. Wait, that giant one in front of the minister's house is her pet? Besides, there aren't any lions in Kurine. We don't even have any zoos. A rather sad state of affairs, I'm afraid. Oh no, they need the soldier from TF2 to come help them with the zoos. Well, I remember hearing a sound like that. The lion's roar coming from the phone is actually from something hanging out in the bazaar. Isn't that the cry of the warbod over in the bazaar? Ah! Your Benevolence, do you think you can clarify the voice for me? Now, I know we had to present that, but that also leads into the fact that it was not at 3 p.m. because Shadow, the whole mess with Dats and Shadow happened at 2:15. Very well. I will now attempt to further refine my vision. Okay. So, Warbod's cry. What's this? Just as I suspected, it was the call of a warbod. That means the subordinate Minister Inga was talking to was in the bazaar, not the palace. But why is it important where the call came from? What significance could it have? He's right. Is it important to know where the call was made from? Yeah, it's very important. Duh. Yeah. It's actually very important. Knowing that the person on the other end was at the bazaar means...
that the loud explosion might not have been the sound of a gunshot. But, I can think of no other items that make such a noise in the area.
Go ahead, Apollo, tell her. Tell Rafa the real source of that sound.
Will do. Well, Hornhead, I'm waiting. What was the true source of that explosive sound?
It was all an Albie statement.
What is that?
It's Albie Urgai's statement.
In it, he claims that Dats Aribal threw a firecracker at him while he was at the bazaar. Then... Yes, the sound heard over the phone was a firecracker exploding. Ah! And yet, a bullet was found at the scene of the crime. Bullet fired from Minister Inga's gun. How do you explain that? Well, we don't know whether it was fired during the course of the crime, right? Or do you have evidence that proves when the pistol was discharged? No, I have none.
I am really starting to think that Inga shot Dirk. I'm wondering, is Dirk dead? Is Dirk dead and is somebody channeling him? That would be wild. Wait a second. If that loud bang was a firecracker, then could that laugh at the end have been... It was Dad's, yeah.
No, it can't be.
Oh, it can, and it is. The laugh came from none other than... the Joker who got a kick out of startling Albie with his dragon snot snaps. That happy-go-lucky Dad Saribal. I guess it is worth noting that we haven't heard from Maya in a while. You're right.
What?
Someone should really put a leash on that guy.
I shudder to think how one man can be the cause of so much trouble. Hey there, AJ! PW! Y'all can thank me later!
He's here. Of course he is.
No one asked for your commentary, Mr. Arabal. Your benevolence, do you need to revise your insight?
It would appear so.
Alright. My father took a call from a subordinate at the bazaar. My father, the true source of that loud bang was the firecracker Dats threw, and that final laugh belonged to none other than Dats itself. Big update! Well, this changes everything. Let's go over the details of Rafa's insight again. Okay. I think I've got this down now. Time to find another inconsistency. Well, the time is completely wrong now. Yeah. Let's see. At around 3 p.m. Objection, Your Honor. I asked for Dats' commentary. Yeah. And let's see. At around 3 p.m., my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. And what's the source? And that final laugh belonged to none other than Dats himself. Let me hang on a second. So, and that was at 2 p.m., right? So we have to pin that down, that the time is totally wrong now. So let's go over the explosion, because we have that definitively, right? So it's not 3 p.m. anymore. So we got to change that. So it's the explosion, right? Hang on. And explosion. There. So this explosion is Dats throwing the firecracker. So he was not waiting at 3 p.m. This was at 2 p.m. So let's see if that works. Your benevolence, there is a glaring problem with this insight.
There is?
You stated that the murder happened at around 3 p.m., which is right around the time my client arrived on the scene. However, now that we know what the source of the loud bang is, your insight conflicts with a certain piece of evidence.
I suppose I have to ask the obvious here. What evidence conflicts with the claim that the murder occurred at 3 p.m.?
It's Albie's statement again.
Albie or Guide's statement? Again?
Yes, because to summarize what he said, at around 2 p.m., Shadow was surprised by a firecracker and ran into the palace courtyard.
Around 2 p.m.?
That's right, 2 p.m., not 3 p.m.
Are you suggesting?
I think you know where I'm going with this. Datz's laugh, the cry of the warbod, and the bang of the firecracker were all heard right before Minister Inga's death. Thanks to Albie's statement, we can put a definitive timestamp on all of those sounds. Therefore, what this vision shows is that it's extremely likely that the deceased's final moments were at 2 rather than 3, as we had originally thought.
Dare I ask?
It means the murder took place a full hour before Dirk entered the tomb.
Paul Kunka!
But why?
How can this be?
Are you saying that I, the very personification of the law, have been mistaken? Uh-oh. Broke your nails. Now you see why justice will always prevail.
Peace! Peace, I say! Now then, defense. I must remind you that the figure of the accused was clearly shown in the vision. How do you explain that?
I wouldn't say it was clearly shown. After all, the figure didn't actually have a face.
Ah, you're absolutely right. Without a face, we can't be certain who it was.
Furthermore, need I remind you that if the vision is from 2 p.m., Dirk was still with me and Mr. Wright, which means this faceless figure couldn't possibly be him.
So then, what are we to make of this 1 hour difference?
Wait, 2 o'clock? That's when... My mother was performing the rite of channeling.
She was. Oh, yep, so that's going to come in somehow.
The palace guards had all been reassigned to guard the channeling chamber for the rite. Don't tell me. The royal residence, it would have been virtually unguarded.
Which means the real killer could have easily slipped unseen into Amara's tomb.
Defense! Are you saying that this is someone disguised as the accused?
That's exactly what I believe, Your Majesty.
Preposterous. Disguises cannot deceive the memories of the dead. That the face did not appear this time is mere happenstance. Had it appeared, such subterfuge would have been as clear as day.
He's got a point there. Anyone who knows about the divination seance would have tried to hide their face. Nevertheless, our killer openly appeared before Inga. The question is, why? Apollo, maybe the killer could afford to be so bold because they knew their face wouldn't show up in the seance vision.
What?
It's possible that the killer dared to dress in Dirk's clothes and stand square in front of Inga, precisely because they knew they could get away with it. But how could anyone be so sure of something like that? A long time ago, I heard of a cognitive disorder that impairs a person's ability to distinguish between different faces. What if Inga had it? Then are you saying that this is literally how Inga saw the world? Yes. We can't normally see through the eyes of others, but in this case we can. And if he had that disorder, I imagine this is how faces appeared to him in real life. Oh, so if he had face blindness, then this would be him trying to remember people. He wouldn't have known Nana. Wait a minute, diamond-shaped tattoo on her forehead. Diamond-shaped tattoo. Wait a minute, is Nana actually Amara in disguise? I know I'm trying to, like, predict all these twists and stuff. That's interesting. Glasses, purple hat, diamond-shaped tattoo on forehead. Where's Nana? It could be. Certainly could be. And had that disorder. Okay. Okay, let's say that the killer knew that Inga had such a disorder. They could definitely use it to pin the crime on Dirk. But wait, is Amara the killer? That would be a wild twist. If you're wondering about how to prove that Inga had it, you already have what you need. Really?
Well, defense, do you have anything to show to this court?
Yes, I believe so. Frankly, I have no idea what Mr. Wright means, but I'll look the evidence over again. I know.
What explains why the face of Minister Inga's killer is absent in his seance vision?
His notes.
A notepad?
Yes, it was found in Minister Inga's room, and it holds the answer we're looking for. As you can see, it's filled with detailed notes on various individuals. What kind of clothes they wear, hairstyles, and other discerning physical characteristics.
And this is connected to the faceless nature of the killer how?
The vision we saw was exactly what Minister Inga saw with his own eyes. It is who he saw his killer as a person, without a face. In fact, this is how he normally saw everyone around him.
What's this?
I believe Minister Inga had a disorder that prevented him from recognizing faces. It would explain the faceless being and why he needed a notepad full of people's physical characteristics. Now that I think about it, my father was always terrible at remembering people. By simply changing my hairstyle, he would fail to recognize even me. Your Eminence, you knew that your husband had such a disorder, didn't you? Did you, Garon? He never wished for it to become public knowledge. But I suppose there's no use in keeping it quiet about it now. It is as you say. My late husband had a special disorder that hindered his ability to recognize faces. The medical term for it is prosopagnosia. So Mr. Wright was right. The memories of those afflicted with such disorders in life do appear strange at times. There is precedent for this. So the killer likely knew about the disorder and used it to their advantage. Right. So there's someone who is both knowledgeable about the divination seance and aware of Inga's affliction. Your Eminence, who knew about your husband's condition? A small number of servants who tended to his needs, and me. Surely you're not about to insinuate that I committed this crime?
Oh, no, Your Eminence.
Still, could she have done it? Garon has an alibi, remember? Oh, right. She was conducting the rite of channeling at 2 p.m. In that case... Your Eminence, does Nena know about Minister Inga's disorder? Of course she does. She is our head servant. So as head servant, she knew about Minister Inga's condition. And as the princess's personal attendant, she is familiar with the divination seance. If these two facts together don't make her a possible suspect, I don't know what would. You witless lawyer, how quick you are to forget the facts. Facts like, when Inga was last seen alive, you claim he was slain at 2, yet that is impossible. Rafa saw him at 2:30. We did completely forget about that. No, there must be some mistake. So you see, the murder could only have happened at 3 p.m. Unless... I'm gonna do it again. Unless somebody was channeling him. If somebody wore his, Yeah. Because he always wore that one jacket, right? So if he had multiple of that jacket, or if someone just took his jacket off and wore the jacket... Yeah. What if somebody was channeling him? So the murder could only have happened at 3 p.m. The hour Dirk entered the tomb. There was no other answer to this puzzle. Why don't we ever get to make up answers like Garon makes up laws? Guess it's back to square one. Where did we go wrong? I don't think we're the problem. We just seem to be short one piece of the puzzle. Our deductions so far explain everything to a T. Everything except for Inga's sighting at 2:30. I see. And without that final puzzle piece, all of our deductions fall apart. Apollo, if Inga's sighting is the only anomaly, we'll just have to find a way to make it fit into the bigger picture. Time to think outside the box then, right? Let's see. It would be impossible to see Inga walking around after he'd been killed. But what if there was a way to make people think he was alive, even though he was dead? Like a way to make people witness the living dead? Sounds like some kind of TV show. Things like that don't happen in real life. Yes, they do. Stop it, Apollo. You know what world you're living in. I slap you. Apollo, did you just...
I did. I figured it out. I know how to make people witness the living dead. Your Majesty, our deductions weren't wrong after all. Despite Minister Inga being murdered at 2 p.m., he was seen heading into the tomb at 2:30, and I'll tell you how.
I certainly hope you will, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Minister Inga her benevolence saw was, in fact, somebody channeling him. A ghost or a clone was one of them. It was the deceased being channeled. It's the only way a man who was already dead could have been seen by her benevolence.
Channeled, you say?
That's right, and there are only 2 people capable of spirit channeling here in Khura'in. Her Eminence Queen Garon and Maya Fey. It's possible that one of them was channeling the minister. It would seem that you are ever bent on making me part of this crime. Prosecutor, what was I doing at 2:30 p.m., the time at which my husband was seen? Eminence, I believe you had completed the channeling rite and were having tea with the king of the neighboring realm. There would have been many attendants there, too. Now Yuda has to keep up with her schedule, too. What doesn't she make him do? Then that leaves only Maya. Yeah, it does. Maybe someone was forcing her to use her power toward nefarious ends. The real killer could have been threatening her. Wait, but... what if Nana actually is Amara? Then, if that's true, she could also channel, right? I need to take a real quick break and I'll be right back. But we will resume this in just a second. All right, I'm back. Maybe Maya is the real killer this time. After being accused of being a murderer so many times, she finally snapped and became one. Or maybe Minister Inga beat her at cards 7 years ago, and this was all part of her revenge plot. I like it. Or, she stabbed her with the Shichishido, and it was actually Godot who did it? Huh? Maybe Phoenix is gonna get some coffee thrown at him? Maybe she was channeling Godot? That cannot be. So then Inga's scream, that was probably from when he woke up from being called back to this world. After all, that's when the flow of time would have picked back up for him after he died. So Minister Inga probably leapt to his feet, thinking he just had a nightmare. Then realizing it was almost time for the hostage exchange, he raced off to Amara's tomb, not even realizing he was already dead.
Then, her benevolence really did see a dead man running.
Hey. Ah! That's gotta be shocking. That's not pleasant.
Using the sacred power of spirit channeling to commit a crime? How can this be?
The defense calls Miss Maya Fey to the stand.
Well, Your Eminence, will you allow a new witness?
It matters not. Either way, this lawyer shall soon know the truth. He will know just how much of an imbecile he is in the face of my infallible arguments. Insult me all you want, witch, but you'll be eating those words when I expose the truth.
Very well, let us adjourn until the next witness is ready.
So we are going to cross-examine Maya, huh? Okay. Unless they throw a curveball at us, right? All right, let's keep going. I feel like this is going to be a long one. The divination seance. We just did that, though. Yes, continue. May 19th, High Court of Kurain. Accused lobby. Talk about some really close shaves. Well, you can't get a closer shave than Headsman's brand blades, that's for sure. The trial's not even over yet, and I'm already exhausted. Still, you were able to fight back the Queen herself in there. Well, maybe with Miss Faye's help, I won't have to keep playing your game much longer. Speaking of which, I guess it's a little late to be asking, but do you think she's well enough to testify, Mr. Wright? She slept all day yesterday out of exhaustion, apparently. But that's all it was, so she should be okay. Bobbed head, horn head. Oh, hello, Your Benevolence. Princess Rafa, you were really impressive in there.
I am the royal priestess Rafa Padma Kurain. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
All right. Despite your mother's opposition, you stood your ground, and in doing so, you fulfilled your duty as the royal priestess. It was all thanks to you and your friends. Your belief in me gave me the courage to follow my path. So, you have my gratitude. Oh, don't mention it. I know. I shall thank you with a gift. What would you like? A cow? A horse? Or perhaps I shall reward your efforts with a royal shoulder massage. Oh, that's okay, Your Benevolence. Your gratitude is more than enough. Thanks. But I thought you Americans liked massages. My technique was highly praised by my father, I'll have you know. Is that a American stereotype that we like massages? Okay.
Hey you, lawyers, where's the accused?
Huh? Dirk? That's a good question. What are you up to?
I blew it big time, AJ.
Dats?
Shut up, you.
What's going on?
This scoundrel tried to escape with the accused.
What?
We were able to nab him, but the accused is nowhere to be found. Where are you hiding him, you miscreant? I keep telling you, I got no idea where he went. I mean, yeah, we booked it together, but I lost track of him after that.
So Dirk's on the lam now?
Probably, but who knows? He vanished in the blink of an eye.
Vanished?
You want to know something, AJ? Dirk said to me,
I can't put Amara in danger.
I have to set her free before it's too late.
What? Don't tell me he's gone to rescue her.
But that's what I am telling you. It's why I helped him escape in the first place.
Dad, do you realize what you've done? Well, what's done is done. Still, why did you choose to go rescue her now?
Maybe he didn't want to die with any regrets or something. You know, just in case he ended up on the chopping block.
Why, Dirk? I thought you believed in me.
Oh, don't be like that, AJ. He'll be back as soon as he frees Amara. You'll see.
That's not the point, Dats.
Listen, lawyer. You will let us know immediately if the accused contacts you. The trial will now resume. See that you're ready.
Wait, the trial's still on? Even without the defendant?
Those were Her Eminence's orders, so you will return to the courtroom at once.
Let's go, Apollo. All we can do is see where the next testimony leads.
Oh no, she broke the rule about, you're not allowed to have the accused declared guilty when they're not there. She beat the cheat code.
But now then, let us resume the trial at hand.
Your Majesty, my client seems to have gone missing.
What do you think, Your Eminence? Should we proceed without the accused?
Why not? My royal guard is searching for him as we speak. I shall find him soon enough. For they would not dare to keep me waiting.
Yes, but what about the law governing court proceedings?
Then I shall simply revise it.
Oh, she also did her nails while she was...
As ruling sovereign of Khurain, I proclaim the following. Should the accused be an enemy of the crown, they may be tried in absentia.
Well, in that case, I guess there's no problem with proceeding. Will the witness, Miss Maya Fey, please approach the stand?
Sorry to summon you like this, Maya. Getting dragged out of bed and into court is not exactly a fun wake-up call, Nick. I'm sorry, Miss Fey. It was my idea. And you are... Oh, right. I'm Apollo Justice. It's nice to finally meet you.
Oh, so you're Apollo. Nick's told me all about you. You're the new guy with the loud voice, and a bit of an unreliable streak, right?
Unreliable?
Well, that was 2 years ago. You've come a long way since then.
So why was I called here, anyway? Am I under arrest again?
Huh?
I guess no one's filled her in.
I like that she immediately goes to, am I the accused again?
Well, she has been asleep this entire time. Miss Fey, this is a trial for Dirk Sudmati, and you're here as a witness. What? Dirk's been arrested? But that's not exactly the reaction I was expecting.
Miss Fey, you are suspected of playing a part in the murder of Justice Minister Inga.
What?
Someone allegedly forced you to channel the minister to obfuscate the time of his murder. At least that is what the defense claims.
Wait, what? How could you, Apollo? How did you even reach that conclusion? I'm sorry, but it's the only way this whole case makes any sense.
Your understandable anger at the defense aside, will you testify, Miss Fey?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Okay. Witness testimony. Channeling the minister.
I don't have any idea what's going on, but I know I didn't channel Minister Inga. I didn't even have the chance to do something like that. Besides, I'd never go quietly along with some criminal's plan, though I guess there are some things I'd go quietly along with.
Really? Like what? What would you go with?
It seems the witness doesn't believe she's ever channeled Justice Minister Inga.
And if her words prove to be true, defense, your entire argument becomes moot. You do understand that, don't you?
Yes, of course.
It doesn't seem like Miss Fey is lying. Apollo, Maya was being awfully secretive about something just now. Then I guess I'd better dig a bit and try to get her to open up to me first. Yeah, she kind of said that she went along with something, but not murder. Or covering up a murder. Channeling the minister. Let's see, I don't have any idea what's going on, but... You've been asleep ever since you were rescued from the tomb, correct? Mm-hmm. I was exhausted after being held captive for so long. That must have been terrible. Maya, Minister Inga didn't do anything to you, did he? Oh no, it wasn't like that. On the contrary, I asked him for all sorts of things. Like what? Like, I'm really craving burgers, and I'll die if I miss an episode of The Plume Punisher. Acting like a brat netted me a TV and even a few burgers from someplace. He was surprisingly nice to me. Huh? Are you sure we're talking about the same guy here? He may have loomed large, but he was unexpectedly easy to push around. Even though he's the one who was responsible for pushing those execution papers through? Oh, that. Approving executions was simply his preferred method of stress relief. With a wife like her, he was probably really pushing them through out of fear. I'm beginning to see why he wanted to stage a coup. In any case, my time in captivity wasn't so bad, but of all the things that happened... I know I didn't channel Minister Inga. Okay. Are you sure about that? Maybe you just don't remember channeling him. Don't remember? I may be 28, but I'm not senile, you know. Something's not right here. Miss Fey, you were confined to Amara's tomb the whole time, is that correct? Yes, but I wasn't conscious the whole time. Okay, then let me ask you something. Did you ever see Nana in the tomb, dressed as Dirk? Huh? Is this some kind of joke? I think I'd remember if I saw something as crazy as that. Plus, I doubt anyone could carry out a crime like that right in front of a potential witness. I hate when he's right. I didn't even have the chance to do something like that, okay? You didn't have a chance to channel him? Does channeling someone take a long time? Not really. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty much instantaneous. But I was all tied up, literally. So there was no way for me to make the channeling mudra with my hands to do it. Right. I guess she really didn't channel Inga then. Maya, when mediums are done with a session, they can send the spirit back to the other world themselves, right? Sure, unless they're still in training. Amateurs can get possessed by spirits sometimes. But full-fledged mediums can stay in total control of a session. And they can send the deceased spirit right away anytime they want. So I take it you can do that too, Miss Fey? Of course! It's a cinch for the new and improved Mystic Maya Fey, ace spirit medium. That's strange. You seem like the same old childish Maya to me. I'll show you, childish Nick. Besides, I never go quietly along with some criminal's plan. Alright. The last one, though. So you wouldn't channel spirits for unseemly purposes? Of course not. Spirit channeling is my bread and butter, and I take a lot of pride in my work. It's like, would you use your legal skills to commit a crime, Apollo? Well, until finger pointing and objecting became deadly, I don't see how they can be used. Wow, you're a regular Mr. Smarty Pants, just like Nick. Always at the ready with some sarcastic comeback. I think I'll save my many objections for after the trial. Yes, please. Anyway, I'd never go along with something like murder. See, though, I guess there are some things I'd go quietly along with. Yeah, this one's weird. It sounds to me like you're trying to hide something, Miss Fey. Didn't anyone teach you about respecting boundaries, Apollo? It's really rude to pry a person's private affairs. Sorry, I didn't realize, Wait, we're in a court of law. Yeah, I know.
Then what was that all about me being rude? I'm just doing my job.
So please, just tell me, what exactly are you hiding? Sorry, but I promised Dirk I wouldn't say.
You made a promise to Dirk?
Mm-hmm, a pretty big one. I think this is about all you're gonna get out of her. Yeah. Enough. The witness is denying that she channeled any spirits. Further questioning is pointless. It appears your little fiction has been soundly exposed for what it is. You should listen to her, Apollo. I don't even know why you suspected me in the first place. I mean, you don't have any evidence of me channeling Minister Inga, do you? Oh, evidence, huh? There's no point in even thinking about it, really. I don't use anything special to channel spirits, so there wouldn't be anything left behind. That's true. Just like when she channeled the High Priest. All Maya needs is her own body.
If the defense has no evidence to offer, I will have to end this cross-examination.
What now? Even if she doesn't use any special items to do the channeling itself, you'd think there would be something to complete the deception.
Is there any proof that Justice Minister Inga was channeled?
What was it? Let's see. Maya is the prodigy spirit medium? Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see. Tomb diagram. There's got to be something. There's got to be some evidence, right? Let's see. Seems to belong to Dirk. A fingerprint was found on the inside of the lid, stained with the victim's blood. Well, let's think. What about this? Inga's button, discovered in the ashes of the tomb incense burner, is caked in soot. Why was that button buried like that anyway? That's weird, isn't it? And then this one was broken. And it was over there in the incense burners. Is there any proof that he was channeled? Yes. You bet there is. Really?
Well, now...
You're bluffing, I take it.
I'll be fine.
If we're right, then there must be some sort of proof to back us up. Time to do some serious thinking, Apollo Justice. Okay, we know that when Rafa saw her father, he wasn't dressed like Miss Faye, right? I like that Phoenix saw through the bluff. Right, because if he was, Rafa would have immediately known he was being channeled. So that means... he was dressed in his usual suit when Rafa saw him. Right? Aha! Good thinking, Apollo. This might be the perfect angle to attack from.
All right, let's have an answer from the defense. What proof do you have that Miss Maya Fey channeled Justice Minister Inga?
He was dressed in his usual suit. The gemstone? Discovered in the ashes of the tomb's incense burner, caked in soot. Is it the... Not the back pane. We already used the notepad. The only thing I can think of is the gemstone, right? Like, why was it there? That is weird to me. That Miss Maya Fey... I have to admit, I'm kind of at a loss on this one. Okay, so he was channeled. And... I'm gonna say the gemstone. Let's see. Because... if that was there, then... did she get a second pair of clothes and burn it afterward? Maybe? In the incense burner? Yeah, let's try it. I mean, we haven't lost a one yet, so that's good. Let's see.
Is that a gemstone?
We found this among the ashes of one of the tomb's incense burners. Does this gemstone ring any bells, Your Eminence? What? What was that doing in the tomb? Ah, so you do recognize it. But then as his wife, How could you not recognize this gemstone button from your husband's jacket? I don't get where you're going with this. Channeling Minister Inga alone wouldn't be enough to fool someone like Princess Rafa, especially if he were wearing your clothes. So you would have had to change into the minister's clothes before channeling him. Ah! Miss Faye, you used the minister's clothes as cover while going from his room to the tomb, where you burned them once you no longer needed them. What? Uh-oh. She seems genuinely surprised by that, Apollo. Oh, okay. Miss Faye? Yes? Do you know my husband's name? It was, Inga Karkul Karain, right? That is correct, in part, but there's more. Much more. Oh no! Inga Karkul Hakold Disnam Bihani Laga Ormod Karain III. That is his true name. Could it be any longer? Due to its length, only a portion of it was ever made public. So, Miss Faye, did you know his true name? No, I mean, how could I? Precisely. Yet a medium must know both the face and true name of the one she seeks to channel. So then, Miss Faye couldn't have channeled Minister Inga? That's what I've been saying this whole time. Why would I want to randomly channel some old guy I didn't know? And didn't like, thanks to that last trial. I can't believe this. Apollo, I really don't think Maya's lying. However, your line of reasoning still seems credible to me. I agree, but there's something tripping us up in the details. Okay, I'm going back to my theory that Nena is Amara, and Amara channeled him. Maybe we're working off of some wrong assumption again. Apollo, I was thinking... Yes? Since I didn't channel Minister Inga, is it possible that someone else did? Someone else? But who else could it have been? I haven't thought that far yet. Such chatter is without merit. Let us move on, shall we? I don't care what Garon says. I'm going to figure this out. If it wasn't Miss Faye, and the Queen has an alibi, then... Apollo, forget about who is capable of channeling spirits for a second. I should consider the circumstances around the channeling, right? Right. We know Rafa saw her father come running out of his private quarters. If he was being channeled at the time, who could it have been? If it had to have been someone who was in Inga's private quarters. Nena. Well, I'm waiting, Defense, and you know how much I despise waiting. Yes, but there is someone else besides Miss Faye who could have channeled Minister Inga. There's just one more person, and they were in Inga's private quarters. Yeah, the Queen herself said that. That person's our only hope now. So the Defense believes there was another. Let's have your very serious answer then. Ow, 3! With pleasure. Horned devil. Who could have channeled Minister Inga? This is like a, I hope you've been paying attention so far, test. It's Nena. Nena? Your Eminence said it yourself. That's right. Nena never did go into the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters. How do you know? It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters. Shoe prints that belonged to Nena. And then there's her benevolence's statement. She said that Nena disappeared right after she entered Minister Inga's private quarters. The room from which Minister Inga himself came running out of not long afterwards. You are not seriously suggesting. It's the only thing that makes sense. Nena channeled Minister Inga and left his private quarters thereafter. That's why no one has seen her since. And why only the minister's shoe prints were found outside his residence. No way! That's gotta be it. Nena must have somehow channeled the minister.
All of the circumstantial evidence has fallen into place. You can't ignore it anymore. You can't claim Nina isn't connected to this case somehow. In light of this, the defense calls Nina to the stand.
Well, Your Eminence?
Very well, then. Let us call Nina to testify.
Yes, now we can finally crack this case wide open.
Let us adjourn while the witness is summoned.
There is no need. Nina is in the waiting lobby.
What? Nina's here? I thought she'd gone missing.
It seems she was feeling unwell and simply wished to rest undisturbed. But her concern for Rafa brought her here today. She took time off without Rafa's knowledge or consent? I'm betting there's more to her disappearing act than meets the eye, Apollo.
Yep. There she is.
Miss Nina, do you understand why you've been summoned here today?
Yes, of course. Her Eminence has informed me that this man here suspects I have committed a crime. So this is Nina. That's quite the hairdo. Though I will say... I suppose I'm not as old as I had thought. If this horn-headed nincompoop would take me for a criminal...
Nincompoop?
Isn't that Rafa's favorite insult?
I guess Nina rubbed off on her, what with all the time they spend together.
You there, young hornhead.
Yes?
You're accusing me of slaying Minister Inga and channeling his spirit, yes? What an active imagination you have. Young folk are so wonderfully open-minded.
Thanks.
Just take the compliment, Justice.
Now, then, will the witness please proceed with her testimony? This court wishes to know if you did or did not channel Minister Inga in his private quarters.
Witness testimony. All right. I'm no spirit medium, Sonny. I was feeling under the weather yesterday and decided to rest these weary bones. Besides which, a lowly servant such as I could not possibly be an honorable spirit medium. Only members of the royal family can learn the art of spirit channeling here in Kurtrein. After Queen Amara's passing, Her Eminence, Queen Geron, is the only spirit medium left. If you believe a medium to be the culprit, it would have to be that young lass Maya Fey. Uh-huh. And there you have it. It seems we have summoned her for nothing. Only those of the royal bloodline have the power of spirit channeling. That a servant such as Nina could channel spirits is a most unamusing jest. On the surface, anyway. But our line of reasoning has led us to this end. That Nina channeled Inga's spirit.
All right, the defense may now question the witness.
All right, we got cross-examination, but I think we're going to call it here for tonight, and we'll do it next week. And I hopefully we can finish this case. This is a long one. That was a long investigation, and this has been a long court segment already. But we are about near finishing time, so I think we'll call it here, and we will get into it next time. So I will see you then.